So last night I had a thought. My dad did not like it. He said I can't demolish words because I said to him that intelligence doesn't really exist. So hear me out. Let's work through this, or let me just hear me out. I don't know whether what I'm saying makes any sense or is true, but this is how we find true things by seeing whether they might be true. Um, so what if we say this, that the way that we see intelligence, our concept of intelligence, that kind of intelligence doesn't actually exist on Earth. I don't know whether intelligence is possible for biological systems. Um, I don't know whether it's possible for artificial intelligence systems. Um, all right, but let me explain what I mean. So, well, basically, actually, it's really easy to explain what I mean. Is if you just whatever issues people tend to have with the idea of artificial intelligence achieving intelligence, all that, whatever that skepticism is, should also be applied to humans. Um, so basically, all right, look at it this way. Let's start with phototropism. So plants tend to, or trees tend to grow towards the light, right? Phototropism, they tend to trope towards the photons. Um, Now, that's not because they are intelligent in the sense that they're like, oh, hey, uh, sunlight is good for me, so I'm going to have my leaves be open to it. Instead, you had plants that didn't have uh, phototropism, maybe some early version of plants, um, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of years ago, or a couple billion years ago, or something. I don't know, or a billion years ago, maybe. And some of those plants, though, uh, had some genetic mutation such that photons affected their growth, as in um, where photons were affected the proteins that determine their growth direction, and that was advantageous. And so those plants survived. And so the plants that we have today are descendants of those plants that just their programming had them being responsive to having their direction and their growth being responsive to the direction from which the light was coming or landing or whatever. And so these plants imitate what would be the intelligent thing to do. Um, and then you add hundreds of millions of years to that, and more complex biological systems, and now you've got humans who their programming imitates intelligence by being affected by the input. No, the input comes in, the way the brain is organized produces a certain output, which sort of by chance initially imitated the best thing to do. And then, all right, maybe it's just because I've just woken up again. I don't know, I'm not feeling great. Maybe it's just because I've just realized that my intelligence is a lie. Um, so then we can use the term intelligence. So rather than using it as like, oh, fuck, what am I trying to say? My intelligence is absolutely a lie. Um, all right. So we have to limit the definition of it. If we want to describe humans, we have to limit the definition to the best imitations of intelligence, or we can define intelligence instead as being creativity. How different the output, the behavior, the whatever, is from the inputs. So how new and useful is the output? We can say that that's intelligence. So basically, stimuli input, they come in, and then the brain that so then and then those, think of it as like a Rube Goldberg machine. Ruth. So you've got these like just you got this input, and then you got these complicated mechanisms that churn something out. Or just like imagine a factory. Like you put this thing in, and then there's machines like do something to the thing, and then it comes out. And when that thing that comes out is useful and very different from the inputs, then that could be an example, a point of progress. And maybe we could describe that as, well, just creativity. And then we can say, okay, we can use the word intelligence for that because real intelligence doesn't exist. All right, somebody help me in the comments trying to say what I'm trying to say. Somebody whose mechanisms put better words to it. Or when you hear what I'm saying, the mechanism, it goes through this system here, and then maybe it produces some better words. In which case you would have demonstrated more intelligence than me, because the output is more useful than the input, and also either way, both of us are producing an output different from the input, because most of the ideas of the zeitgeist are that we have intelligence, quote unquote. Well, this is perfect. I can just title this video, I am not intelligent in any real sense.